They will say that if you put it all together, you've got a guy that behaved pretty badly, who ultimately, if he walks free, will have had no actual genuine accountability. What do you say to people that have that concern?
Piers Morgan has torn Sean Diddy Combs' lawyer apart in a fiery interview over her hope that Diddy's term could be cut short by the U.S. president despite all odds. How dare she hope for this when her client is charged with such hefty crimes?
Sean Diddy Combs has again been denied bail as he awaits sentencing. Combs has been in jail since his arrest almost a year ago and wanted to go home on a $50 million bond. He was acquitted last month on the most serious charges of racketeering and sex trafficking, but convicted of 2 counts relating to prostitution. Both could land him with hefty jail terms, but members of his inner circle are hoping that President Trump will cut them short.
It all began on November 16, 2023, when singer Cassandra Cassie Ventura sued Sean Combs, alleging years of abuse. Although both parties settled the case the next day, the lawsuit set off further allegations and intensified federal interest. Homeland Security Investigations, HSI, led out of New York, searched Combs' homes in Los Angeles and Miami as part of an ongoing federal investigation. This was the first public sign of a broad criminal probe. Soon after, CNN obtained and aired 2016 hotel surveillance footage that appears to show Combs assaulting Ventura. Combs later apologized in a video statement. The clip became a touchstone for prosecutors and the public narrative.
Oh, very good. I just wondered where you think you are in terms of what is going to happen in October with the sentencing. Because obviously, potentially, Sean Diddy Combs could face a significant period of time in prison. Are you anticipating that, or are you anticipating a more lenient sentence, or are you anticipating that President Trump may still intervene and issue a full pardon?
Currently, the case is at its summit, with Diddy being indicted in 2 Mann Act sentences. Each Mann Act count can carry up to 10 years, though actual sentences vary based on the federal guidelines and judicial discretion. That's why the present reports have indicated the reach of the lawyers and Diddy's sources to the White House, anticipating a direct involvement of the U.S. president in this case to slash Combs' sentences.
But in terms of he wouldn't get a prison sentence at all?
We do not think that he should spend another day in jail. Not at all.
But he has been convicted of crimes. People will say, well, why shouldn't he go to jail?
There is indeed a strong outburst on the scandals involving Diddy. Federal prosecutors this week urged the judge to reject Diddy's bid for acquittal or a new trial, citing overwhelming evidence of his Mann Act convictions and years of conduct, highlighting their push for sentencing despite talk of a political pardon. Meanwhile, the courts are also being pressured by public figures such as 50 Cent, who is campaigning against a pardon with a docuseries on the allegations. At the same time, daytime TV and online petitions amplify public resistance, shaping the optics the White House must weigh, even if not the case itself.
The Mann Act was not meant to cover this type of behavior, number one, and that I think you'll find out very shortly that there is no one that we've been able to locate or identify, no case where someone is in jail for the same behavior as Mr. Combs. And so that's not fair, and that's not right.
Not right? He literally assaulted women during his parties and was accused of sex trafficking. And she just sat there calling his acquittal not right? This was so common with the Diddy camp. Until CNN publicized the assault video, all that could be heard from the lawyers and Diddy himself were statements of denial and threats to Ventura for highlighting the scandals. But the moment the video came out, what did Diddy do? Sent an apology video straight out of his home. Where was the denial then? And how can anyone trust such people after they lied so much on camera that they couldn't even return to the statements they gave before?
Right, but it's obviously in the remit of the President of the United States to issue a full pardon should he wish to. He's certainly given some slightly ambiguous statements, President Trump, indicating that it's not something he has completely ruled out. But he did make a point of saying that he was aware that despite their previous friendship, that Sean Combs had said some pretty negative things about Trump.
That's right. Donald Trump, on whose orders Diddy hopes to be pardoned right now, was the one whom he repeatedly bashed with his words back in the years.
And did some research and found what those were. In 2017, when Trump had been president in his first year of his first term, he said to the Daily Beast, to be honest, we don't really give a F about Trump because black people are in the same effed up position. And in October 2020, he told Charlemagne the God, the radio host, that white men like Trump need to be banished, and the number one priority is to get Trump out of office.
Not only this, in April 2020, during a conversation on Naomi Campbell's No Filter with Naomi series, Diddy stated that the black vote is not going to be for free. We can't be taken for granted, and I will hold the vote hostage if I have to. Our vote is not for free. Whoever wants to make a deal, it's business at this point.
He said the real way of thinking is real dangerous. This man literally threatened the lives of us and our families about going to vote. We're in a war of love versus hate. The number one priority to get Trump out of office.
Moreover, in a 2016 Vanity Fair interview, Diddy criticized Donald Trump's presidential run, saying Trump was not prepared to be president and calling his campaign divisive and dangerous. These statements are precisely why Trump has publicly cooled on a pardon. Asked in late May, Trump said he would look at the facts, but more recently called a pardon more difficult because of Diddy's past criticism of him. That's a pointed, on-record signal that any near-term mutual agreement is unlikely.
A lot of the public opinion, I think, was clouded by the horrendous video of him attacking his then girlfriend in a hotel corridor. You have spoken courageously yourself about your own experience with abuse. When you watch that video as a woman, notwithstanding the fact that you've been part of his team, what does that make you feel personally about Sean Diddy Combs in the way that he has been violent towards women?
Sean Diddy Combs isn't just facing a trial. He stands as a man credibly accused and now convicted on federal counts against a backdrop of years of allegations of domestic abuse. These weren't just passing accusations. They depicted a pattern of violence and control.
I know, because I've spent a lot of time speaking with him and I've spent a lot of time with him. I know that he knows that that was wrong. Bottom line, it was wrong. There are no excuses. And I appreciate that he knows that. I feel very confident that nothing similar, anything like that, would ever happen again.
For survivors of domestic abuse, those images and stories are not just evidence, they are a mirror. Yet here stands Nicole Westmoreland, one of Diddy's attorneys, stepping forward to defend him, a woman defending a man accused of beating women.
I know that it did not take him being arrested. It did not take him being indicted. It didn't take the tape coming out for him to immediately know that he was wrong, immediately be remorseful, and immediately know that he needed some help.
It raises unsettling questions. What does it mean as a woman to spend your professional hours dismantling the testimony of other women who say they were brutalized? What does it mean to strategize on behalf of someone accused of inflicting the very trauma that women's advocates have spent decades fighting to be recognized in court?
A lot of people have painted a pretty dark picture of what he was like in that period, that he was, we've all read about the freak-off parties, we've read about the violence, intimidation and so on. Do you genuinely believe he's a reformed character? Some will say, leopards don't change their spots, that if he gets out and doesn't have to face any jail time or be held accountable for the things he's been found guilty of, notwithstanding you saying there's no precedent for jailing somebody in that position, they will say that if you put it all together, you got a guy that behaved pretty badly.
Piers Morgan incinerated Nicole Westmoreland with his piercing questions for defending his client Sean Diddy Combs despite his heavy crimes and hefty sentences. Her hopes of Diddy getting a pardon from Trump ticked off Piers Morgan like a time bomb, after which he calmly destroyed the lawyer for standing up for her client even after his atrocious crimes.